Proustian narrator jabbering about the machine. Arbeit, and exhortation to the use of bigger, seriouser words, but words that denied their existence, not solely from the self setting itself on fire, but from a field of being, of which the adaptive resonance theory, AONT, was only a telegram with the author's message. We are clearly in a different place now. Oracle has become coracle. Final Cuts has become feral guts, a herstory in lyrics. With one piece of music called Hymn, whose epigraph is an ear of wheat reaped in silence, which was the secret of the Eleusinian mysteries. The decorticationary of the Sky Sonnets is now A Pack of Lies by Emily Keene, translated for your hebephrenic blather. This is the edition of the fictionary which exists in your particular space-time. Other space-times may be almost identical, but not exactly. You have been warned. I'm warned. I'm warned. I'm so fucking warned I could plots. And very few terms, but interesting ones that seem to mirror and revert the ones that we found in the original. Dead Man's Book. We'll just read this one. Descriptor, literary theory. Idiosyncratic translation of French postmodern theorist Jean Baudet's phrase "L'autre au revue" from his 1983 essay Macos. According to Baudet, it is the act of writing which kills the author. The act of externalizing and reifying ideas in the overdetermined system of language is an abdication of authenticity. For Baudet, this is the central fallacy of language, that while it appears to allow individuals to communicate, all it really does is provide interfaces for essentially prescriptive linguistic systems to grind along each other without ever requiring human action. He draws on Jameson, Echo, and American horror films, particularly Invasion of the Body Snatchers, to illustrate his point. And on the left-hand side of the screen, an image of a dead man's book featuring a picture that looks like Buddy, with additional books that appear not to have been written. On the Road to, The Trial of Alger Hiss, which would have been Patty Chayefsky's next project. The Mason-Dixon line, and again we have to remember when this was written. Noble Rot, which would have been John Belushi's next project. And The Theory and Practice of Oligarchical Collectivism, which hopefully needs no introduction. There is some pictures. There is another screenplay, this one called Orpheus. There is something by Emily Keene called Binky, the Politically Correct Dinosaur. Binky never eats the underprivileged. He gives the proto-mammals any food he can spare. Thanks, but that's my sister. There is, in the place of the hypertext version of this is a film festival where we would have had the science fiction convention. There is, in the place of the globe, there is something called hyperdeath with an indictment. The map is not the territory. You are not here. Things are as they seem, played upon the bitmap screen, not Stevens. This is all there is. Why travel? The rest of the real world will have poor sanitation, unfriendly natives, and larval parasites in the water. Stay here with me. Your possible. The hyperdeath product team, Aristotle, Johannes Gutenberg, James Watt, James Clerk Maxwell, and listed as pawns are Alan Turing and Jeremy. In the place of USW, ditto, the Journal of Semantic Irrelevance. And finally, Necropolis, the Egypt of Egypt, with another dialogue box asking, not asking. It says, what is the password? And there's no question mark. There is, in fact, a period. So the password would, of course, be what? And we are in the end game, the Egypt of Egypt. There was a time not too long ago when the only part of the Sphinx that was visible was the head. The rest remained buried in the sand. Legend had it, if you slept near its mouth, it would whisper the future to you. As it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. The past always watches, inscrutable and knowing, prescient from out of the sun-bleached ectochrome eye sockets of a million-old still frames. Time is a lie. If only we could put on masks and believe, but we are always already masked, mashed, washed, wasted, crushed like dead alley cats in the jaws of a garbage truck. Life is a lie. The last sketchbook entry. Harley's Moon. I saw a pigeon killed today. It was wandering into the street with the braggadocio of a New York bird. And then in the early 80s Monte Carlo, passing another car on the right, took him dead on as he tried to make altitude. He hit under the headlight, was dumped forward, and then, wings outstretched, was squeeze dragged under the right front tire. A pop and a spurt over in seconds. Tonight, a hunter's moon hangs with a crooked sickle grin past the apartment houses, home to do laundry. It was then that I found one of his fingernails in the windscreen, and I suddenly remembered writing. There are some times when I almost seem to remember another life, another world of moments, spun each to each with my consciousness, yet strangely separate, indistinct, dopplering away under the pressure of the wind. And if you go to